Hey, friends, welcome to our second installment of our summer series where we are taking a look at church websites and reviewing a different church website every week. I'm Brian Haley. If we haven't met, I'm the producer of Church Juice, and I'm so glad that you are taking a few minutes out of your day today to watch as we dive into a new website that we have not explored before. At Church Juice, we are all about energizing church communications. And so we love providing free resources, tools, community, everything that you need in your quest to become an effective and great church communicator. We love looking at church communication strategy. We love looking at the different elements that go into church marketing and outreach and overall communication for your church and your community. So, this little series that we're doing throughout the summer, each week we look at a different church website that some of you have submitted and sent in to us to request that we review your site with you. So we are doing it live every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And we look at a different church website where we give our first impressions. I have not gone to this website to take a look at it before now as we unpack it, and we give our first impressions. I take a look at some of the SEO things that we could tweak and make better and what we like about each website every week. And of course, the whole idea here is that in community, we can do incredible things for the sake of the kingdom. So I'm excited about today's website. If you haven't watched last week we kicked off the this series by looking at First Christian Reformed Church in Red Deer, Alberta. Today we are looking at another Canadian church website. We are looking at Cariboo Community Church in Williams Lake, British Columbia. So I'm excited. You can follow along if you'd like. We are going to go to their website. It is cariboocommunitychurch.ca, and we're going to dive in just a moment. So if you haven't already, make sure, like I said, go back and watch last week and make sure that you just kind of follow along. Take some notes about what you could improve on your own church website and what you like about the website that we're reviewing, or things that you see that could be changed as well. In our Facebook community, we're always looking for ways to collaborate with each other, to brainstorm, to encourage each other. And so this is one of the ways that we do that, as well as offering some of our thoughts and opinions. So we are going to look at Cariboo Community Church. So let's see here. Let me figure out if I can reorganize our screens here. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, so first I pulled up here. This is a website grader. It is from HubSpot. It is a free tool that any church website can use. So what we're doing is taking a look at basically the performance of the website, the back end of how things operate and how they work. So if you go to website.grader.com, you can put in your own church website address, and it will give you this same little score here. So as you can see here, this website performs pretty well. There are a few things that we noticed off the bat as we dive down into some of the performance ways that they measure the website. And you can see that some of their images could use some work. So we'll take a look at that in just a few moments. We see that the page speed is a little bit slow, but really that's not too bad considering how slow websites could be to load. And then we see this page request just kind of contributes to the page speed as well. So those are the things that to me really kind of stick out to me. So looking at images, which probably contribute to the page speed as well. So you'll see here that larger images, the image size, that makes your website lower or slower to load. And so that's probably what is contributing to the page speed itself. We also see down in the SEO section that there's no meta description. So if you can go into the back end of your website, whatever your whatever tool you're using to update the content of your website. Make sure that you have meta descriptions, you have all of those kind of back end ways that you can add information about what your website and what your church is. That helps Google and search engines figure out what your website is all about, who you are trying to reach, and it helps people find your website a little bit better. But overall, the website performs pretty well. So let's go over to Caribou Community Church. All right, so here is their website, and you can see right off the bat a few things that I noticed. The first is this contrast here. So in this area, we have a yellow flower in the image in the palm of their hands, but we're also using an orange-ish text. So maybe this orange is the color for your church. It's your branding colors, but the contrast here makes it hard to read. So that's one thing that I noticed. When we look at the page speed in the images, I can see we're using stock images, so I'm guessing that you all probably have not resized these to the proper dimensions that are needed. So they're probably too large as size, and because they're too large of an image, they're a larger file size, and so I would guess that's contributing to your slow page loads. I would also say that what I notice right away here, I love the use of these colors, the yellows. And in BC, I would imagine that you all are in a rural area. So I like that we have this nature, we have the yellow colors, this yellow and orange that you're using, along with the darker blue. So I'm guessing those are your church branding, your church style. But I noticed that there is no images of anything related to the church. So this top image here is a great space to use an image of people in your church. I wouldn't say use an image of your building, but if you can get some pictures of people in worship or people doing ministry. I talked about this a little bit last week too, but that helps people quickly identify with and identify who your church is, and it gives people, if I'm a first time visitor or thinking about visiting your church for the first time, I want to know what to expect. And so visuals give a great way for me, a great indication for me to know what I can expect when I show up. So I would encourage you to look at the images that you're using and try to use real images of real people as much as possible. If these, this what to expect, if that's an image of your community, that's great. I would find maybe a place where that fits a little bit better. Maybe that's maybe this who we are rather than what to expect, because that doesn't really align. The rest of these, I'm pretty confident, are stock photos. So let's go back to the top a little bit. I mentioned the contrast here. Make sure that we're using images and text colors that have great contrast, both for accessibility. If people are vision impaired, that can make it even more difficult to see what you're trying to say, but also just for the general user and how things look on different size screens too. So you could probably darken the image that you have. Sometimes it looks like you're using Squarespace. So sometimes there's a way that you can put like a mask, so it just kind of gives a color over top of the image too. That may be helpful. Right away we see, the text here is a community for you. So we're big on community. But again, there's no images of community. So make sure that what you're saying is represented in text. That's great. But also in visuals. That's really important as well. I would also say that in this top area, there is no mention of where you are or anything like that. So as Google and different search engines are trying to figure out who you are as a church or what your website is all about, is really what they're trying to find out. Putting even just your city and the province, that makes a huge difference when people are looking for churches in your area. So somewhere up here, would be great to have, a community for you in Williams Lake, BC. I think that would be great. Let's see what happens when we click in-person service. Oh, interesting. Um, okay. So what I would expect to happen, so I clicked this in-person service at 10 a.m. What I would expect to happen is that you take me to a web page that gives me more information about the in-person service. Instead, it took me out of your website and to your Facebook page, um, which is not solely about the Sunday service. Um, I'm trying to see. We're back in May. I don't see anything. Oh, here we go. May 21. Um, okay. May 21, it says join us at 10 a.m. and it gives your address here or over Zoom. So the Facebook page doesn't really talk about Sundays a whole lot. So that's a concern. If people are clicking this, like I would expect, if I'm a first time person, I would expect that it probably takes me that it would take me to a page like this on what I should expect. So I think that's something that I would consider changing pretty quickly because, first of all, you're taking people out of your website. And so people aren't engaging with your website. They're leaving right away as soon as they click the first button available. The second reason is that it's an unexpected um, reaction or something to happen. So I would expect this to take me to a page that gives me information about the service that's happening in person at 10 a.m. It probably would help to say Sunday at 10 a.m. as well. Um, but I would encourage you to create a page that gives details um, about who you are as a church, probably this page, if you worked on it a little bit, what to expect on a Sunday, what happens on Sunday. I see a paragraph here about kids. That's great. Um, where do we meet? I see no information about that on the I'm new page. So I would expect that this button takes me to that I'm new page with some tweaking a little bit. The live stream on Zoom, I would actually probably put that on this page. S- I would probably rename this button Sunday at 10 a.m. or join us or I'm new or something like that. And then this live stream, which is okay, which is just the link to the live stream. Again, I would probably link this out to a page, create a page. If you're going to keep this button, create a page that gives details about the Zoom call. Again, what should I expect on the Zoom call? Are people expecting me to chat with them? How long is the service? What happens during a service? Those kinds of things. Or even an archive of past services. So those two call to actions, your primary calls to action, I think could use a little bit of work, and I think you'll see that people will engage a little bit better with your website because both of these buttons take you out of your website right away. So people are not staying on the website very long. Um, and one of the things that you want to do with your website is to start building a relationship at the very onset. So by taking them out of your website right away, you're neglecting that relationship already and building that relationship. You also have your Facebook page link up here, and you have a link to your YouTube channel. So I don't think that you need anything, a button that just goes to your Facebook page. I mentioned already using images that are real, of real people. I think those um, would really help here. So what to expect? We kind of looked at this page. I'm assuming that this image is from the church, which is great. I love seeing images of real people. I would love to see some more faces. The center is kind of this the stove, plate area. So I would love to see something more focused on people, but this is a great start. Um, the other thing that I mentioned a minute ago, this is a page for people who are new. So people who are visitors or planning their visit or thinking about visiting. Um, so I would love to see, again, more visuals. You could even use icons to help break up text. Text is great for search engines, but people don't actually read text. We're not, how often do you read paragraphs of text? So the more that you can break it up visually, the better people can consume quickly the information that you have here. And I would consider thinking about what else someone who's new wants to know or needs to know right off the bat. So I would love to see the location on here, when you gather as a church, what other opportunities there are, what people should. I see something. I saw it somewhere. The dress code. Okay, you can always say that dress code is informal, but again, visuals help relay what people actually dress like on Sunday. Because saying something like that as a new person, okay, you're telling me it's informal, but what are people actually wearing? And so visuals can help with that. You mentioned that services are about an hour or a little bit over an hour. For someone who's entirely new to the church, what does that mean? What is a time of worship? What is a messaging centering on biblical truths? What does that look like practically? So you can spell those out a little bit too. Um, I would put like a map or directions or something like that. If you have information about how to register for kids, things like that, where people can take a next step. You could also invite them to plan their visit, to start planning their visit. Let you know that they're planning to come this Sunday or whatever Sunday that they're planning to come, and start getting little bits of information on them throughout your relationship building. Will help. Um, yeah, will help a little bit as people want to explore your church and learn more about it. Let's see here. So, um, yeah. So that's the home page. That's the new page. I love you have what to expect. Let's see what who we are is. So a little bit of history, values. Those are great. I think you could link to those from your I'm new page. That would be great to link to. Um, life groups. Interesting. This actually My first thought when this page loaded was that this was a different website. It's not the same colors. The imagery looks different. It's still kind of that rectangular header, but the image itself looks quite different because it's so blurred out. Um, you have a list of life groups. If I'm new, I don't know what a life group is. So we talk about why, but not what it is. Um, but I don't know that it's important enough for a new person for it to be this one of these top um, image buttons or whatever you want to call them. So you do have media here. Oh, I take that back. You have a broken link, so I would fix that. Let's see if it's on your YouTube channel. Um, so I think May 21, 28, June 4, June 18th. Yeah. So these are all your past services. So you do have an archive of them. So on this homepage, um, obviously fix this media link that's broken, and you could probably embed these videos so that you keep people on your website. Embed it on your actual church website, um, and you can update this media page with those recent YouTube videos. Um, but what I was going to say is that this button on the homepage, instead of live stream on Zoom, you could put watch a recent sermon or watch a recent service, something like that. Um, and then you have that there. You don't have this button here, so that's getting rid of it. And that might be a good step. I love the colors. I love the cleanness of this homepage too. What I would say is that you probably need some more text for search engines um, to grab and show your website, show your church a little bit higher in local rankings, because there's probably less than 100 words total on this homepage. So I would encourage you to think about what text you could add. Some of that basics from the I'm new page would be great on here. Talk about who you are as a church, what makes your church community unique, where you're at, those kinds of things. So I would aim for a little bit more text on here. Again, people don't read paragraphs of text, search engines do. And so it's helpful there, but mixing visuals and text, I think, would be really helpful on your website too. But I love the cleanness of it, and so I don't want to neglect that. But yeah, finding the right mix, I think, would be helpful, and that would help you again, just in search rankings. Will help people find your church website a little bit better. So I hope that's a little bit of some impressions, some tips, and some ways to improve this website for your church at Cariboo. If you're watching along, whether live or recorded today, I hope that you gathered something from what we talked about in today's website, that you've learned something for your own church website that you can help make it better as well. If there's anything that I can do or that we can do at Church Juice to better serve you, to help you in your role as a church communicator, please reach out to me. I would love to help you help your church energize your church communications. That is what we are all about at Church Juice. And we love being able to do things like this website review today, and all of the different resources that we provide. So head to churchjuice.com. You can find a way to contact me there. I would be more than happy to help you, support you, consult with you, however we can help. And again, we just want to help energize your church's communications in any way that we can. So head to churchjuice.com, find the latest resources there. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I would be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Have a great day. Have a great week, everybody. I will see you next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where we will be looking at a different church website. Have a great day. Have a great week, everybody. Goodbye.